early bride, Sonia Edwards from Bryan Insurance. By the way, Brad wants me to come over and play.
Oh yeah.
You know about this?
No, I just know that that's Brad for you.
Brad was all disappointed on Monday. I was flying my brother back to San Antonio, and I was coming back, and I got a text from Brad. What are you doing? And I said, I'm flying back from San Antonio. And he took a picture of him riding that, what is it called?
Euro. Yeah, it's a sidecar, old World War II looking motorcycle.
Yeah, it looks like when Barney went to the government surplus and got a sidecar for the police department in Major.
It's a cool bike, though.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he wanted me to come over Monday night and play. And then last night, he texted me right at sunset. Are you busy? And I'm in for the night.
Yeah.
I understand that as guys over 40, whenever the sun starts going down, it's time to get, slow down a little bit.
Brad hasn't realized that I'm 57, and that's really old. So anyway, how's everything over at Bryan Insurance? What do you have for us
We're
this
doing
week?
great. This is a question that we get asked. I know I've discussed this multiple times, but since I get asked the question multiple times, it's something that I know is on everybody's mind. It has to do with when you rent a vehicle, if you should buy that insurance that the rental car company offers. It's really not insurance. It's a collision damage waiver or loss damage waiver. And I know Rick has seen how I've changed over the years because at one point I refused to buy it.
Okay.
And of course I would always be the one at the counter explaining to the person why I don't have to buy it.
Yeah, she was very vigilant about this situation. It's like, I'm an insurance agent and you're not, and this is what's going to happen.
Because, they always tell you your insurance couldn't possibly cover this. And I knew that particular insurance that we had would. I have completely flipped, and it's not flip-flopped.
No, you flipped, that's right.
I have flipped. That's another subject. But I have, and it's not, our policy still covers it the exact same way that it did before. But I feel like I just don't want to deal with the hassle if anything happens. And it seems like when we're renting a vehicle, it's obviously not, in the next town over. It's in a city that most of the time we're not used to driving in. We've never had a wreck. I'm knocking on wood. But in a city or when we're renting a vehicle. But anyway, regardless of what I do, I just wanted to talk about some of the things. Not every auto policy will cover damage to a rent car.
Okay.
It just depends. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on essentially what coverage form you have. The ones that do cover, some of them cover it under the liability portion and some cover it under the physical damage. If they cover under the physical damage part, there's a lot of stuff that if you have an accident in that rent car, because when you sign that contract that none of us read because we want to be doing something fun on vacation, not standing there in the kiosk.
Are you saying that when you initial on those little lines that it means something?
But they're making
like that agreement you make at the bottom of the page when you do anything. Yeah.
But not only are you signing that you will be responsible for anything that happens to that car, if it is your fault or not, it doesn't matter. When you're signing that agreement, you're agreeing that you're going to bring it back just like they got it.
Right.
So first of all, something could happen while it is parked in a parking lot and you're not even there, and that can happen. Also, while they are having it fixed, you have to pay for when the amount they could be renting it for to somebody else. And also, if it's a bad enough accident, if the value of the vehicle goes down, it's called diminished value, you're responsible for that too. And a lot of other junk that they could charge you for. And if you buy that loss damage waiver, as we say, because we're dramatic, you can wrap it around a tree, hand them the keys, and say, where's my other car, and not worry about it. And not that you'd be reckless on purpose or anything like that. So, but the point of all this, I think it has to do with just how you have to weigh the option. First of all, find out how your policy covers. If you're fixing to go rent a car, call your insurance agent and find out, what coverage do I have? That's the most important thing, because some policies don't cover it at all. And you do not want to be that person that, then you're really in a mess. But then also, then you need to determine, okay, how much is this loss damage waiver going to cost me versus the peace of mind, and just make the decision for yourself. It depends on probably the where you are going to be in the rental vehicle. Are you going to be in Los Angeles? Are you going to be on a country road in Vermont or whatever? You have to.
I'll take Los Angeles over the country road.
Well, so would
not
we.
a jab, Rick.
No, I'm just saying. What are the chances that you're going to have an accident versus not? Although we know anything can happen anywhere, and just make that decision for yourself. Is it worth it to me or not? But the first step is find out from your insurance agent if it's covered, because you do not want to be surprised about that.
What about when you get asked about the insurance on trailers when you're renting trailers and stuff like that from like U-Haul? Should you take that insurance?
You should take that insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you have a very specific type of excuse me, commercial insurance that very few policies have. It's called hired physical damage. It's a whole other thing, and those are usually pretty cheap too. I think that the U-Haul thing is a lot cheaper than the damage waiver at the rental car company.
We were in Phoenix, Arizona not too long ago, and when we got there, we had I guess reserved like a mid-size 4-door top car or whatever. Well, we got there and they're like, well, we're out of those. You're going to have to upgrade to something. And so we upgraded to a...
What's the reason for the reservation?
Exactly.
When you get the car, there's not there.
It's
really not reserved.
Anyone can make a reservation.
It's keeping it.
It's keeping the reservation.
But there's a great ending to this story because when we got there, we were going to get a 4-door car and it was going to be a mid-size, do nothing kind of stuff. And they upgraded us to a 2-door Dodge Challenger. And so we get there, we got the Challenger. Sonia had went to classes. I was running over about an hour away to see the Texas Rangers play Oakland in a spring training game. And I was flying down that freeway in that Challenger, seeing how fast it would go. And I was sitting there the whole time thinking about this insurance deal, going, I'm glad we took that out because when I run the wheels off this thing, I could take it back and go, here, it's yours now. Let me have another one. So think about that when you go someplace and they upgrade you to something. They got everything. You go up to any of these rent car places and they. You can upgrade to a space shuttle if you want to. So when you get over there, just that insurance is very well worth it.
And it's not really that expensive. It's really affordable.
It's not. To me, the peace of mind and just not having to deal with it, even though, like I said, I know our policy covers, and the kind of policy we have covers all those charges that I talked about. But the whole time, if there is an accident, they're going to charge the max on your credit card until that claim is paid. That's, it could hurt your credit. You're going to have another claim on your policy that you didn't want. There's just a lot of reasons. And obviously, I'm not trying to sell damage waiver because, that's just more money to the rent car company. However, I think sometimes it might be worth it.
Well, especially if you're going to be like where we were at, Phoenix, big freeway. We've been in Anaheim, Los Angeles, rented cars, been in Orlando, rented cars. When there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot more, I guess you'd say, chances of something happening.
I think the day that I changed my mind about the damage waiver is when we were in 8 lanes of traffic in Los Angeles, and I thought, I can't believe we didn't buy that damage waiver, and from that when it didn't have an accident, from that moment on we did. So.
See, this is I was telling you yesterday about the difference between we think, by the way, men and women think. She was worried about, the damage waiver. I was worried about, hey, I can't stand sitting here for all day long. I want to roll in this car,
Anyway, so that's, and like I said, ask your agent and then decide what you want to do. But don't be surprised if don't wait until there's, to find out, because that's never fun. So, and
especially if you got a Texas driver's license and you're someplace else, they're going to be like, oh boy.
Yeah, you might want to get a room.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be here a while.
You're going to be here a while.
All right, Sonia, how do we get a hold of you?
If you have any questions about this or any other insurance related, just call us at 940-549-2525. Come visit us, second floor, Sierra Bank in downtown Graham, or online at www.bryanins.com.
All right, we'll see you next week.
All righty.